On Saturday, November 23rd, 2024, I went to see The Other Americans at Arena Stage. I didn't expect to return back to Arena Stage so soon after seeing a play there last month, Jaja's African Hair Braiding. But when I heard about The Other Americans, I knew I couldn't miss out. The play was written by John Leguizamo, who is better known for his more comedic roles, and he also stars in it as the family patriarch Nelson, who is struggling to keep his laundromat businesses afloat. And this play is directed by Ruben Santiago Hudson, who is originally from Lackawanna, New York, a suburb of my hometown, Buffalo, New York. I had seen Lackawanna Blues, the HBO movie version, which is based on his autobiographical play. And let me tell you, S. Epatha Merkerson deserved all the awards she received for her performance as Miss Rachel, the woman who acted as the glue who made a motley group of broken individuals feel whole. I recommend it, definitely. The performance I was going to see required masks, which I had no problem with. And even if it weren't a mask required performance, I would still wear mine. I'm still pretty cautious about that stuff. And it's that time of year where people tend to get sick. And people can be really nasty. People don't cover their mouths when they cough. And one time I saw a woman pull out what I call snot spaghetti from her nose. Ew. I digress. But that's the reason why I tend to keep wearing my masks in public, regardless of there no longer being mask requirements in most places. I woke up on time, and I left out on time, but I noticed that my pants were very wrinkly. And I grew up in a household where appearance was harped on incessantly, and that childhood programming was drilled into my head. And I didn't feel comfortable leaving out with wrinkly pants, so I went back to my apartment to change my pants. But unfortunately, I missed the bus and had to wait for the next bus, and that completely threw my schedule off track. And I ended up having to wait a long time for the first train to get me to DC. I am so stressed out right now. I should have been in DC already, had my plans gone as planned. But I feel that the universe is against me today. It does not want me to get to the theater on time. Oh my God, I'm trying not to stress out about this, but I'm stressed. I hope I make it to the show on time. It's obvious I do not leave out often on Saturdays. And I was rumbling and grumbling about how it was too slow for rush hour when one, it was Saturday, and two, rush hour does not happen late morning, early afternoon. But eventually the train came and I thought we'd be on our way.
Once again, we're currently single tracking the blue and the yellow line train from Reagan National Airport to Potomac Yard. We're waiting our turn for the trains to clear the single tracking area. Appreciate your patience.
Luckily, once the train started moving, everything else was smooth sailing. I did have to wait a few minutes at L'Enfant Plaza metro station, but that train eventually came too, along with the noises and smells that come with a funky train station. I made it to the area with a half an hour before showtime, and I thought I'd have time to go to the Wharf, which is across the street from Arena Stage, and clear my head. But when I got back to the theater, there was a long line at the will call. Ooh-wee. Arena Stage's box office staff worked as hard as they could to get everyone through that line as quickly as possible, and I was seated a few minutes before the show started. It was almost a full house, and most attendees complied with a mask requirement. If they did not have a mask, they were given one. But I saw a few who weren't necessarily following the rules. I saw one whose mask was down on their chin, and another whose nose was exposed. But I expect that since most people do not wear masks anymore. The theater was a very intimate set, theater in the round, in which the audience surrounds the set. But it was uncomfortable for me. I felt that the space was too tiny and the aisles were too narrow, and I didn't have elbow room or room to stretch my legs for the most part. But I would get through it because I was determined to see this play. And I loved the set. It felt like someone's home with a living room and dining room, and even a corner was set up for the bedroom. And later in the play, the set floor was opened, and a pool was under that, and it was used as it was intended to be used. I'm always impressed with the painstaking detail that goes into creating a set and making it look like someone's home, or like with Jaja's African hair braiding, a hair salon. I love all those details that go into making a set feel real. Intermission right now, and so far the show is really, really good. John Leguizamo, Luna Lauren Velez, and the rest of the cast, amazing, really amazing. And it feels very, I felt like I was in someone's home. That's how intimate the set is. They had it set up, the main set was set up like a living room, a kitchen. And then they set up a corner to make it look like the bedroom. They even had a pool. They opened the set floor and a pool. They had a small pool under it. I'm like, I was impressed. And so far the acting is really amazing. There were some times I felt they were breaking character, but they kept going. And the audience is very into it. And there's some times I think the audience may not understand what's being said because a lot of it's a mix of English and Spanish. And I think sometimes the audience may not understand the Spanish, but I've got a sense of Spanish. So I'm picking up most of the Spanish words that they're saying. It's really good. And John Leguizamo's usually known for playing more comedic characters, and his character is a clown in this play. But here, there's a little more gravitas, a little more seriousness. And I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing so far, and I can't wait to see how this play continues. When the PA announcement said that intermission was almost over, I rushed back to my seat. But surprisingly, the majority of my row did not come back. I don't know why, and it's sad because I felt that this play was so important and needed to be heard. Maybe there was too much Spanish for them, or maybe they didn't want to sit with the uncomfortable truth of a Latino family dealing with a hate crime and one of its members dealing with PTSD, depression, and anxiety from that. They did not want to sit with the uncomfortable truth that this is the sad reality of this country. But on a plus note, their exit gave me back elbow room and leg room. The play dealt with some very heavy topics amidst the levity of the characters dancing, singing, and having fun and enjoying each other's company. There was a scene near the end of the play that hit a very strong nerve for me. And when the play was over, I had to sit and reflect on that. I just finished seeing the other Americans at Arena Stage, and I had to come out here to clear my head and process what I saw. I was really moved. I was really amazed. And there was a scene in the second act of the play that really hit a nerve. And I pulled my hand sanitizer out of my purse. I'm cleaning my hands. I pulled a tissue out of my purse, and I started dabbing my eyes because I was crying. I was really... I don't want to get too specific, but there's a scene that's really heartbreaking in the play, and I was crying. And I don't remember ever being that moved. I'm always moved by plays, but I don't remember ever being that moved to the point where I'm in tears. And I had to come after I'd finished seeing it, and I had to process my emotions. And there were mentions of PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And dealing with anxiety and dealing with depression, I'm familiar with it. And I'm familiar with people trying to fix things. I'm familiar with people trying to make it okay. And sometimes doing too much. And instead of trying to make things okay, they make things worse. I can relate to that. And I was dealing with my anxiety earlier today because I was worried I was going to be late and miss the show. And I'm still trying to come down from that. And I'm still trying to come down from that. I get overwhelmed so easily. And I was stressing because I thought I was going to be late. And then there were just too many people out, and I get very tense and edgy when I'm around too many people. Or when people walk right by me without saying excuse me, they crowd my space. So I know those struggles. I know what it's like to deal with that daily. And then have people think, oh, she's crazy, she's nuts. Or write me off as a bitch because I come off as snappy when I feel overwhelmed. And especially being black. And we're not allowed to feel that whole range of being human. We're not allowed to feel that full range of emotions. So anything that's perceived as off or not normal, it's written off as rudeness, bitchiness, nastiness. And a lot of times I will do things like my need to be alone to protect my peace, to protect my need to just bring some calm and to bring some calm back to me and to bring the level down. And people may find it weird or strange, but this is how I cope. This is how I function. And seeing this one character struggle with depression and anxiety, it definitely hit a nerve. And so I came out to process it. I'm gonna sit and think about it for a while, but I was really moved by this. I was really moved by this play. I'm always moved by plays. I'm always moved by plays. Excellent acting, excellent sets, excellent direction, sound, lighting, all those aspects. But yeah. Next up, I headed to La Famosa, a Puerto Rican restaurant, which I heard about in an episode of Signature Dish on WETA. I went there to pick up some takeout. And let me tell you, that food is so delicious. The arroz con condules and the El Pollito, which is a very nicely seasoned chicken sandwich with cheese and greens. And the guava pastry was so delicious. It was light, buttery, flaky, and that guava filling had a perfect combination of sweet and tart. And that flan, whoo-wee, creamy, custardy, with that caramel, those caramel drippings on the bottom. Oh my God. La Famosa, I will be back. Though my Saturday was pretty stressful, I do not for one moment regret going to see The Other Americans. Such an excellent play from all angles, and I highly recommend it. The Other Americans has its last performance at Arena Stage on Sunday, November 24th, 2024. Catch it if you can. If you have liked this video and you want to hear more from me, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.